Hello students, I hope you're having a great day and a great week, and I really miss you all, but I'm happy that I can still at least see your work when you submit it and that you're watching these videos. So today's story is about deciding together. So before I start reading, let's think about what it means to decide together. Have you ever heard of the word decide? So when you decide something, you make a choice. Like, what are you gonna have for lunch? You have to decide. And sometimes you're gonna have lunch or do something with someone else. So for example, if I'm gonna have lunch with my little sister, Madeline or Julie or Monica, I have 3 sisters, and we're all gonna eat together, we might have to decide together what we're gonna eat. Because maybe I wanna eat pizza, but let's say Maddie hates pizza. Am I gonna decide to have pizza with her? No, because she doesn't like it. We have to decide together. We have to talk. We have to think about what all of us would want. So in this story, Z and the kids decide things together. So another question before we're going to start is, have you and a friend ever had to figure out a problem together? Like how to share something that you both wanted? Maybe a friend or a sibling or a parent. Have you ever had to share something that both of you wanted at the same time? How did you decide what to do? Did you fight over it? How did you decide? In this story, the kids help Z learn that it's fair to decide things together. This means that everyone gets to share ideas and everyone listens to each other. Then you can think and decide together on a solution that works for everyone. So, in order to decide together, you have to share your ideas because words are important, and you also have to listen well. So can you think back to our other Z stories and to Howard B. Wigglebottom? What are some things you can do to make sure you're listening well? I have some ideas. One is that you have to make sure you have a calm, quiet body. If you're talking, you can't listen. You have to make sure you're looking at the person and your attention has to be on them. Those are just some ideas for how to listen well. So as you listen to the story, pay attention to the different ideas Z and the kids have for how to solve their problem and whether they think of a fair solution. So let's start. What are they doing in this picture? Let's see. After a busy day of playing, Z and the kids were working together to clean up the messy treehouse. Z picked up puzzle pieces scattered on the floor and suddenly noticed something small, brown, and fuzzy. What is that? Small, brown, and fuzzy. Z gently picked it up to look more closely. It looks like something we might see in the garden. What's that, Z? asked Kayla. Z held it up as the other kids gathered around. It's a caterpillar, they shouted. Wow. How would you feel if you found a caterpillar? Ew, I don't like bugs, said Gabriel. Let's put it out in the garden. Kenny disagreed. And is it okay to disagree? We learned in the last Z story that it's okay to disagree. Kenny said if we put it in the garden, it will eat all the plants. We should just smush it. Oh, oh my goodness. We should not smush it because then my phone will fall. Kayla shook her head. You can't smush it. I want to take it home and put it in my bug house so I can see it all the time. Would you want to put it in the garden, smush it, or put it in a bug house? Let's hurry up and decide what to do before it gets away, said Gabriel. But Z quickly covered the caterpillar so that none of the kids could see it. Why do you think Z did that? No way, said Z. I'm holding it, so I get to decide. I'm going to keep it here with me. That doesn't sound very fair. Whoops, Z. Z didn't know how to decide what to do in a fair way. What would you tell Z and the kids to do? Think about that for a little bit before I move on. What would you tell Z and the kids to do? We know that you're holding the caterpillar, Z, said Kenny, but we should decide together. That's right, said Kayla. We all have different ideas about what to do. We should stop and talk about it. Just like how we learned in the last story. When you disagree, like Jeremy said, you can stop, calm down, and talk about it. So we can come up with the solution that's okay for everyone. The kids and Z talked about what they could do. Gabriel thought bugs were icky and didn't want the caterpillar in the treehouse. Kenny was afraid to put it in the garden. Kayla was excited to take it home, but Z wanted it to stay in the treehouse. So all four of them had different ideas on what to do. Everyone wondered, these are their thinking faces, what should we do? Hey, Kayla, said Gabriel, what if you brought your bug house here? Then the caterpillar would be in its own house instead of crawling around our treehouse or the garden. It could stay here with Z, but you could still see it every day too. He turned to his friends and asked, what does everyone think about that? It wasn't quite what anyone had suggested, but everyone agreed that it was a very fair compromise. Have you ever heard the word compromise? It's like when you're trying to decide what to do, so you kind of have to find something that's not exactly what you want, but that takes a part of what each person wants. So like Kayla wanted it to be in the bug house, but she wanted it to be in the bug house in her house. So then one of her friends had the idea, well, maybe it could be in the bug house, but in the tree house. So it's not her whole idea, but it has a part of it. So that at least a part of it she agrees with completely. That's what a compromise is. Kayla went home and brought back her bug house, and they all gathered some juicy leaves for the caterpillar to eat. Z and the kids watched the caterpillar and took care of it every day. Wow, they're working together. One day, Z noticed that the caterpillar looked like it had wrapped itself up inside a leaf and gone to sleep. The caterpillar's inside of there. Many days later, Z looked in the bug house again and saw that the caterpillar had come out of its chrysalis. So that thing that you saw is called a chrysalis. And now had beautiful wings. It had turned into what's that? A butterfly. The kids and Z decided together that it would be fair to let the butterfly go. They didn't want to keep the butterfly locked up. As they watched it fly high into the sky, they were all glad they did something that made everyone happy, even the butterfly. Z says, if you know it, say it with me. Z says, whenever we're together, my friends help me discover how children on earth get along with each other. So Z wants you to remember that when you have different ideas, it's fair to make decisions together and think of a solution that works for everyone, a compromise. So now, so I can see that you've watched this video, and so that you can think about the story harder, now go to Class Dojo, and if you are in the Mango group, draw a scene from the story. So think about what was your favorite part, and draw that. Draw what you learned from the story. If you are in the strawberry group, then you draw, but you also include labels of what you drew. So for example, if I chose to draw the part at the end, where this is Z and Kayla looking at the butterfly, so you would label it as well. Like by putting a Z under Z, or trying to write the word butterfly. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but just so you work on spelling. Z, butterfly. And then if you're in the apple group, I want you to type the main idea from the story. And the main idea is it is it's fair. It is fair. To decide. Together. It is fair to decide together. Because that was one of the main ideas we learned from the story, that it's fair to decide together. And then it's optional for the apple group to also draw. And like I said in the last Z story, Kylie thought of a good idea to use some of the stickers in the Class Dojo app. They kind of look like Class Dojo emojis to be a part of your story. So you can do that if you want, or you can just draw with the little colored pencil function that they have there. And I'll be super excited to see it. Keep up the great work, and I hope I can see you guys soon. And another way that I can see you face to face is through my office hours. So office hours is a term for a time when the teacher is just there for any of your questions. I'm there to talk to you, and it's through Zoom. So it's kind of like FaceTime or Skype. I don't know if you've used that on like your iPad. You can see other people's faces, so you can call me during that time, and your parents should have a link for that. So if you want to be able to see me, and then we can talk to each other, because I know you can see me when you watch the video, but then I can see you too, and we can talk about what you've been learning. So you can ask your parents about my office hours, and then I can see you on Zoom. So I hope you guys do that soon. I'll be super excited to see you. I hope you're doing well. Bye, class.